Is there an enhancing, slangish word to put after statements, like the Norwegian slang word ass? I'm making subtitles for a Norwegian TV show, and there is a very common slang word in Norwegian called ass. Yeah, never mind the English meaning of that, it's not pronounced the same. The etymology of the word is actually there is a shortened form of the word also, which means something like therefore, thus, or verily, the latter sense being where the slang meaning derives from. Example. Which means, I don't like it. The purpose of the word ass is hard to explain, but it sort of adds some sincerity to the sentence. Without it, the sentence sounds kind of naked. A bit like English indeed, but indeed doesn't work for a negative statement like this, and it certainly doesn't work for informal language. The word is extremely common in spoken Norwegian, especially among young people. Some more examples. Jeg vet ikke, ass. I don't know, jeg vet det, ass. I know, do more proof that, ass. You have to try it. At the moment, I'm using man a lot, as in, you have to try it, man, but I think some variation would be good. I realized that I could just use nothing, since the word carries only some meaning and is not that crucial, but I still feel it would be better to use something, to capture the feeling of the sentence. So I know about man, or even the word dude. I realized that you could use these words, even when talking to a girl, but it doesn't seem that perfect. And are these words natural, when the speaker herself is a girl? Also, how about when talking to a group of people? The word must be something a 17-year-old might say to his or her buddy while hanging out. It doesn't have to be slang, but it does have to sound natural in a subtitle, where young people are talking informally to each other. Details regarding Norwegian ass. It's an enhancer, but not a very strong one. It's more like a laid-back word like dude. You're not that passionate about what you're saying, but you do mean in. Ass at the end means that you mean what you're saying. A bit like really. But it's also a laid-back word. You can certainly say it while speaking in a lazy or careless tone. Also, it's used very frequently in informal Norwegian, so it's a bit watered down. The word it derives from, also, thus, therefore, verily, could be used in the same way, but hardly any young people do so in informal contexts, and it sounds old-fashioned. I found the definition of also in a Norwegian dictionary. Fosterken det helt sant, altså, han veldig kjekk, also. Which means, reinforcing, it's completely true, verily, he is very handsome, verily. I guess I should just use verily in the subtitles. That sounds like so casual, for real. Please note that also is perhaps not as old-fashioned in Norwegian as verily is in English. I believe verily is extremely old-fashioned and perhaps even pompous in English, however, also is still somewhat old-fashioned. To break down the word also even more, its etymology is alt, all, everything, plus sa, so.
At the moment, I'm using man a lot, as in you have to try it, man, but I think some variation would be good. I realize that I could just use nothing, since the word carries only some meaning and is not that crucial, but I still feel it would be better to use something, to capture the feeling of the sentence. German has some words like this, e.g. doc. Hopefully over time, this nostalgic urge to make your English mirror your Norwegian will dissipate. In the meantime, you need some variety, so the people you're talking with won't go totally batty. Sorry, scrap that last paragraph, I just reread your question and saw that you're writing subtitles, not making conversation in your own everyday life. For the subtitles, you need not translate that filler word every time. Here are some filler words you can use from time to time. After all, it's good to be open to new things. Well, it couldn't hurt to try something new. It's a pretty good idea to try new things from time to time. You should totally try this. Hey, you should definitely try this new game. Give this new thing a try, eh? Canadian in origin, but works anywhere. The new one isn't bad, I think. The new one isn't bad, you think? The new one isn't bad, see what I'm saying? You catch my drift? I'll try the new ice cream, why not? What the heck, what the hey, sure, good idea. I'll try the new one, actually. And for homework, I want you to listen to people talking, and jot down the filler extra words they put into their speech. They won't always be at the end of the sentence. Scrap that last paragraph too, sorry. Note, furthermore, subtitles should be succinct, so the eye can spend more time on looking at the images, less time on the text.
When subtitling, this word is God's gift to you. Here's your predicament as I see it: you are bound to render speech, presumably casual dialogue, in subtitles. A word that seems to be a cross between an epistemic intensifier and a filler keeps being repeated. It has no obvious counterpart in the target language, but a lot of good renderings exist. The main point appears to be to sound colloquial. My advice: do not try to translate the word, especially not by making a list of possible English renderings and alternating between them. Just translate the meaning. If the meaning and style, and not the original wording in Norwegian, call for man, or you see, etc., then by all means put it in, even if the source phrase does not contain us. I'm sure you are already doing that, but us keeps bothering you. It will be a serious problem in dubbing, as your audience will be lip reading. With subtitles, you want to be minimalistic, you may need to put less than the original while being truthful to it. So personally, I'd be very happy and try to put all the colloquial, buddy-buddy feel of the conversation into the wording of the phrase itself. So, jeg vet ikke, as. No idea. Or, if you must, really, no idea.
I have two possible suggestions. One would be to use the Jeeves and Worcester, PG Wodehouse, upper middle class, don't you know? I've seen better football matches on my local park than that charade between Arsenal and Chelsea, don't you know? It was so kind of you to come, don't you know? Nowadays it would come over as slightly Edwardian, i.e. very early 20th century. Or you could go for the Northern Irish repetition ending, as in the following examples. It has a specific name, but I have forgotten what it is. She's a fine lass, so she is. He's a marvelous dentist, so he is. It was dreadful weather that day, so it was. He seems to be ill, so he does. Both Trump and Clinton will each face an uphill task should they win, so they will.
In Canadian English, we tack the at the end of sentences for a similar effect. It has, as you call it, a lazy or careless tone, and is similar to don't you know in Irish English. For example, it's windy today, eh? In Singapore English, they use the word la at the end of sentences for emphasis, but I think most people outside of Singapore and Malaysia will not understand what it means.
If you want to support the channel,